This episode of the Blerd Mob contains explicit language. While we want everyone to enjoy the show, sometimes we may say things that are not appropriate for all ages. So, in other words, Mom, Dad, Granny, we cussing. Discretion is advised.
King G, Grow Site, ENT. Rock with it, rock with it, rock with it, rock with it. Let me pop my shit. Let me pop my shit. Hands up.
What's up, y'all, and welcome to the Blerd Mob, your hub for all things black and nerdy. I am your host, Foop, joined by my two co-hosts, Ryan and Ralph. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any other streaming service, make sure you hit that follow button so you can get updates from the mob.
And if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and turn on those bell notifications for future uploads.
Today, we have a special guest. You've heard this person before, but now it's time to put the face to the name, or to the voice per se. Welcoming our boy King, who does the intro for the podcast. So what's up, King?
What's up, everybody? Thank y'all for having me. Finally, it's about time.
Oh, here he go. Here he go.
Yeah, I'm glad somebody agree with me. Thank you, Rap. Thank you, Rap.
Listen, no. I'm finna squash this shit right now.
She like you enough.
King had a chance.
She like you enough to put you in the intro, but not a video.
On the podcast for season 1, but something came up and he couldn't make it. He was already set. Some came up and he couldn't make it. So he here now. So let's not come in here with the bitterness. Let's not come in here with the bitterness.
She like you enough for the intro,
it.
but not a video. That's what
I
it was.
Just gonna say I appreciate you using my intro. Y'all hear me every time I listen to Blerd Mob anyway, whether you want to or not. So
that's true.
So what's been going on, y'all? Ralph is back for getting his Boyfriend of the Year award. What's up, Ralph? Woo!
Boyfriend of the year.
Boyfriend of the year.
Oh my god! I've been eating sandwiches and chips.
Turkey or PB&J?
PB&J.
That's why I don't like talking about food with this man.
PB&J.
He had to get specific.
PB&J sandwiches.
You couldn't just leave it at sandwiches?
Why are you?
I wanted to know what type of sandwiches.
This is why we call you a fat ass. You do understand this, right?
I call you a fat ass. You do understand it, right? I don't know what type of sandwich. Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich, Subway Philly cheesesteak. You know what type of sandwich is he?
Wow! You really just want to get really in there. Y'all remember that video where the mama had got her a sandwich? And the boy walked up, and just from smelling the sandwich, he named every ingredient that the lady had.
He picked up the corn off her shirt.
Yes.
And she was like, how you find that out? By looking at a corn.
He said, Mama, you had you a ham and cheese with tomato lettuce. And
right.
I was like, how are you getting that?
Oh my goodness.
He deserves
That's Ryan. That's Ryan in one picture.
Ryan, was that you as a child?
He's shrugging.
But
He already knows.
You did pick out of all sandwiches, Ralph, you did pick the bottom tier sandwich. Peanut butter and jelly, like you could have did like
that's the cheapest sandwich though.
And cheese.
When was PB&J
and pepper jack?
When did PB&J become bottom tier?
PB&J is not bottom tier.
Like, it's no effort.
I bet you like fried bologna.
Effort into that. It's no thought. Fried bologna is better than peanut butter and jelly to me.
That
fried
is the most
bologna with some cheese and some mustard.
Oh, now we getting into the health kick.
It comes to time.
That man said fried bologna the unhealthy. What?
Because I'm trying to see like what are the standards, what are the criteria for making PB&J bottom tier.
What?
So see, now I feel like we need to make a list of what
we gonna make a list.
Yeah.
We gonna make a list of sandwiches.
A sandwich list.
Yeah. I don't think peanut butter and jelly is at the bottom of the list. Nah.
That's a legend. Like it couldn't be at the bottom of the list.
What do you think is at the bottom, Food?
You don't remember having Crustables when you was younger?
I see.
Yes, but
Huh?
Y'all don't
The
remember like the
Crustables
little pouch
is the
PB
peanut
and
butter,
J?
the PB and
Yeah,
J thing.
yeah.
I would not give Crustables that because
Oh, that little folded bready thingy.
they used to
Yeah.
stuff that junk with peanut butter with barely any jelly, and you bite into it, and all you get is peanut butter in your
Yeah.
mouth. That wasn't fun.
Mhm.
That wasn't fun. I bite into it, a bunch of peanut butter bust in my mouth. What the fuck?
I don't know how y'all feel, but if I had to say a bottom tier sandwich, I'll say grilled cheese because there's no meat in it. Even though peanut butter is like peanut butter jelly ain't got
Nah,
no.
I wouldn't put
you would choose grilled cheese over
at the
PB and J?
bottom.
I would pick a grilled cheese.
Grilled cheese and tomato
Grilled
soup
cheese
is
is better than the
golden. What are you
peanut butter
talking
jelly
about?
to me.
I just said plain grilled cheese to fry the bread, put cheese in it. That's
Man,
it.
get you some pepper
First
jack
of all-
Wait,
cheese,
why are
a
you
little bit of
frying the
mozzarella
bread
in
then
there.
putting the cheese in it?
Well, not you. That I said
See,
that out of order.
you
but
don't
know the
vote.
fuck
You ain't
it's
got
a
no
grilled
vote no more.
cheese.
You don't even
You
know how to
don't-
make
It's a grilled. You know how grilled cheese is
You
made.
don't even know how to make
How grilled cheese is made.
He said fry the
What
bread,
you
put the
fry it?
cheese
Like, you
in
don't
it.
fry
What?
Cheese.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You put that shit in the cheese. You
fry the bread.
you
He
keep
said
it
fry
together.
the
And you
bread,
flip
put
it
the
over.
cheese in it. If anybody is out there making
We
their
know your
grilled
family
cheese
gonna eat out a
sandwiches like
lot.
Ryan, I see why grilled cheese at the bottom for you. You don't know how to make it.
I'll make my grilled cheese like that.
You don't know what you're doing.
Oh,
You
my
don't know what
goodness.
you're doing.
Listen, bro.
He's
Listen,
making
bro.
he
Listen, bro.
come in the kitchen. What you doing? Making a grilled cheese. All he got is 2 pieces of bread in the pan. No cheese.
Just toasting
They
it.
got the cheese sitting on the side, waiting on the bread to get done.
He making toast. He making a grilled cheese sandwich with cheese.
Ooh, it's okay, Ryan.
His
It's
cheese
all
gonna
right.
come
I'll
out
make
like
my grilled
Waffle House
cheese like that.
cheese.
Ooh.
That shit gonna come right up as soon as you
I
roll
hate
it.
when Waffle House. You remember when you used to ask for cheese on your hash browns, and Waffle House would put that slice and make the hash
And they
brown
put that square.
and throw that square cheese.
The only time they did right was when you got scrambled eggs and cheese. That's the only time they did right.
Oh my goodness.
It's like they forgot their cheese.
Like
it's like they intentionally forget. Oh shit!
Like,
I was
ooh,
supposed to
they
put
had
cheese on
cheese.
here. Slap.
I'm supposed to
And
put
they just
cheese
throw
on
that
top.
It's like they forgot to ask for cheese.
Hey, bro.
Oh my goodness.
Man.
Bro, I miss Waffle House so much, bro. Oh my goodness.
Nah, for real. Them used to be some good times back in the Gap. But what we're here for...
I get an all-star breakfast every time.
You done?
I didn't know we were starting.
You done?
I mean, you can start.
I feel you. But he was finna go on a whole
show.
tangent about his all-style meal. And
I should have want Waffle House after last time he went to Waffle House.
We don't need to explore Waffle House memories right now.
Yeah, we don't need to.
We don't do that.
We don't need to talk about that.
We don't need to do that.
Yeah, we ain't gonna do them.
Here we go. So we have brought you here today, King. We are doing a mob review on Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore, which dropped Friday, April 15th, 2022. I got a couple hot takes on the movie that I want us to go through. So let's get into it. The first thing that I want to talk about is that this movie was supposed to highlight the fact that Dumbledore is gay. It was like some years ago where somebody had asked J.K. Rowling on Twitter something about Dumbledore, and she was like, oh yeah, Dumbledore is gay. And for those who have read the books, once you look into like Dumbledore and Grindelwald's relationship, it kind of leans towards the fact that Dumbledore had a crush on Grindelwald. So this movie solidifies it, that what she said plus the relationship they described in the book is canon. So that's where the movie went. I want to know how we felt about this relationship and if this relationship added anything to the plot. Because my answer is no.
I would say it's a good starter piece, the way they at least tried to do it.
I mean, like,
I
in terms
don't.
of movies, like, when they introduce romantic relationships, I like it when they bring value, but to my extent, the same way they played it off, like he had a crush on Grindelwald or he was in love with him and all the different ways you can interpret that, they could have just, if they said they were brothers or I just see you as my closest friend, it would have not changed anything about the movie or the plot at all, which makes me feel like it wasn't that significant. Like, it
Yeah.
was cool,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Dumbledore,
Yeah,
he gay, but
yeah,
it
I
didn't add
agree.
nothing.
I definitely
So
agree. They didn't, in my opinion, they didn't make him gay enough. If you was gonna make Dumbledore gay, y'all should have made it obvious that he was gay. He said he was in love with Grindelwald 2 times in that movie. Like when he saw
Mm-hmm.
Grindelwald, he had no googly eyes. He didn't stop and have no flashbacks. He didn't get butterflies in his stomach. Like,
I'll give you that. I definitely agree that they didn't give
yeah,
enough attention to the relationship. Like why
He was
they
still
didn't
willing to
answer.
fight him.
They didn't answer why should we care that you had a crush on this man? Why should we care that y'all have this significant relationship? Like why should we care that y'all made this blood bond to where y'all can't make a stand against each other? And I didn't get that from this movie. Like I don't know. It turns into one of
my
those
God, yeah.
things where, where it's a show comes out and they just make a character gay just for the character to be gay. Like they don't serve any purpose to the plot. They don't do anything significant with the character, with their representation. They just have a character there just to say that they're representing the LGBTQ plus community. And that's what I felt like this was. Because like what Galvin said, he told the man, he said that he was in love with Grindelwald twice, and that was it. Like, okay, sure.
But
We couldn't get any
I,
flashbacks or anything like that.
That.
I also feel like that's just a play on like when writers don't do a good job at depicting relationships in the first place. Because even like with just straight relationships, it's like, we're gonna throw in a sex scene, we're gonna throw in a kiss here, and in a lot of series and movies, it's like it really didn't add much except to make me go, ooh, she naked. Like it ain't do nothing for the story or the plot.
I
Like,
I feel you. I feel like it was something they just threw in there just because J.K. Rowling said it. Just because she said it on Twitter. Now, was there?
They
I
felt
don't know. I don't
inclined to
know.
go and do it.
Right. I don't know if there was some expectation for her that because they were putting Dumbledore in the story that they had to officially say or have him officially put out there that he was gay. I don't, and I feel like that shouldn't have been an expectation she had to meet. Or if she was going to do it, I think they should have executed it in a better way. I'm not saying that he should have been out here
better.
like
Yeah.
flamboyant and, okay, Dumbledore, we know you gay, but just gave us a little bit more, like to care. Why are you
allow us to
putting
actually
this
care
movie?
about the relationship, if anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I was like,
Right. Like even if he like hesitated every time he saw Dumbledore, like y'all finna fight, but he kind of hesitate because he have that certain burst of like, I love this man. Like I guess it would have felt a little better if they did something like that. Like,
they tried to do something like that at the end.
Yeah.
So you remember when they fought, when they went into the
Yeah.
battle, and they did their little Harry Potter Voldemort moment with the strings touching, and then they stopped, and I guess they stared into each other's eyes like, nah, I don't want to do this right now. But even then, it was like I wasn't really feeling that moment. Like it didn't hit hard. When you
Yeah.
get to a moment where the two lovers the lovers turn enemies and they got to fight each other and you really feeling it like, oh man, y'all really fighting each other and we just watch y'all, grow this relationship. I didn't feel that at all.
Hey, you about
We didn't
you about
even
to
watch
go
a
into something
relationship
else that
grow.
I really wanted to discuss. I'm not even going to try to go there yet, Portia. Because I feel like what you was really finna say, that shit was not compelling. And I'll say the whole movie failed at telling a compelling story and showing the different intricacies of different plot points and how different character stories branch off. None of it was that compelling.
I'll give you
None of
that.
it was compelling.
I feel like, and this is my issue with Fantastic Beasts, period, is that if you're going to focus this series on Dumbledore and Grindelwald, you have to make me yearn for this relationship. Why do I care that this relationship is falling apart? Why do I care that they're at odds with each other? And They have not given us that, and they tried to put it in this movie by putting that Dumbledore was in love with him, and they had all these plans to set out for the future, and it fell apart. But it to me, it was not enough to make me care that y'all are lovers to enemies. It didn't give me that. It gave me, and it gave me what I kind of felt like it was, but just I wish they executed it better. It gave me that one-sided relationship, but like the bottom boots one-sided relationship. Like Dumbledore had a crush on Grindelwald, but Grindelwald was only playing with him because you was gonna follow me to the end of the earth. But it's just the way that they executed. Like, I couldn't even feel bad for Dumbledore. Like, in those situations, you would feel bad for the other person, that you've been so in love with this man and he's just been using you the whole time. But I didn't even feel bad for Dumbledore.
I kind of feel like that ties into another one of your hot takes about the actor switch, because the original one, it's kind of like he knew Dumbledore was in love with him, and no, he didn't like him back, but he still cared about him because he was in love with him. It's like the new Grindelwald just didn't give a fuck. Like, yeah, you like me, and I'm gonna use that to my advantage.
Okay, well, let's get into that. So, in November 2020, Johnny Depp had to leave the Fantastic Beasts franchise as Grindelwald after being him in the first 2 installments. And then they brought in Mads Mikkelsen. I hope I said that right. And he's playing Grindelwald. So, how did y'all feel about the switch? His take on Grindelwald?
Honestly, for me, after rewatching the first 2, like I rewatched the first 2 like a few times prior to this movie, for me it didn't make much of a difference. Like, yeah, you see the appearance change, but in terms of like the acting skills or even how they depicted Grindelwald, in the first movie and the second movie, Grindelwald's character was not that impactful in the first place for me. Especially taking into consideration that he's basically like the old school Voldemort. I hate Muggles. I hate Muddlebloods, even though Muddlebloods weren't there yet.
What are Muddlebloods?
I just want all my... Huh?
What are Muddlebloods?
What?
It's Mudbloods.
What do they call the ones? Mudbloods. I don't like Mudbloods and
but
all of that.
That's Muggles, though.
I mean, the Mudbloods were the ones who were half wizard and half human. Like, they came as...
No, those are called half-bloods. Mudbloods are wizards that are born from Muggle parents.
Yeah.
Okay.
Muggles
but then half-bloods are the ones who still
humans.
got the magic.
Mudbloods are... And I hate that we keep using this. It's the wizarding slur. But what it is wizards that are born. It's Muggle born. That's the appropriate name for it. We're not finna get on here and say Mudbloods 15 times. It's Muggleborns. Muggleborns are wizards that are born from Muggle parents. You have half-bloods who are born from parents. One of them is a Muggle, and the other one is a wizard.
Well, even with the Grindelwald thing, like, taking into consideration he's basically like an old school Voldemort, like pre-Voldemort, he did not impact me enough in movie 1, nor 2, nor 3. And I don't know if that's a play on the actor's skills, but for me, it didn't make much of a difference at all, to be honest.
I
think you can go ahead, Ralph.
I feel like the movie lacked the emotion that they tried to bring into it. Even from the scene with, pretty much it didn't carry the emotion that we, should have, especially if they're lovers. I wouldn't even say it even felt like a bromance. It just felt like they were friends and they just had a falling out kind of thing. Yeah. It didn't feel like they were lovers. So it very much lacked that whole feeling of, let's, add some emotion to Grindelwald and let's have Dumbledore, be like, oh yes, my lover, my friend, yes. It's like Grindelwald was like, yeah, fuck you, you're gonna follow me anyway. Come on.
I felt a difference when they switched actors. I liked Johnny Depp's take on Grindelwald. It's just, from his appearance to the way he went about it, it felt Harry Potter. Because all of the Harry Potter villains have some magical, like, twist like dark twists to them, like with Voldemort with the snake face. Even Umbridge with her having like all the weird cats and her dressing in pink and just her being weird. Even the guy from book 1 who had the stutter with Voldemort hiding on the back of his head. It's like all of the villains had something unique to them. And I felt like Johnny Depp did that with his appearance, like with the white hair, his eye. And then we get to Mikkelsen, the new guy, and he just seems very subtle. Like
is that an actor thing though, or is that a director, producer, screenplay, and all those folks thing?
I feel like it's an actor because every actor has a different take on a character, right? Let's go back to the Joker thing. Look at how Heath Ledger took the Joker, and look how Jared Leto took the Joker. That's just how they saw the character. I just felt like that he looked like a political figure. Like he could have existed in any other movie as a political villain. And they put him in this movie and gave him a wand and said, "You're Grindelwald." I didn't feel like he brought anything magical, like dark and magical to the movie. It just felt like he was just this movie felt like a regular movie, but people are wizards. It didn't feel like Fantastic Beasts. It didn't feel Wizarding World. It didn't feel Harry Potter. Like I didn't feel like this was Fantastic Beasts.
But that's the thing with the entire movie overall, though. Like, when I left that movie, I don't know if you saw what I put in the chat. The movie was meh. Like, taking away the fact that it's even connected to the Harry Potter universe, this was an average movie. Like, yeah, it had a climax, it had a resolution, it had an intro, it had characters, supporting cast, and a big bad. This was a very average movie. And I feel like you can see it as below average if you compare it to Harry Potter because it's having to compete against its older brother. But this movie overall, the love scenes, the romance, even between Queenie and Jacob, wasn't heavily emphasized. Newt and whatever that his aura friend who wasn't even in the series in this movie that much, none of that was emphasized. The only thing that I can say was above average in this movie was the graphics, the magic. I even felt like the choreography and the action scenes were solid compared to how, they choreograph magic battles and dueling in Harry Potter. I feel like those were up there. But overall, it was just an average movie. Like everything, the relationships, the storytelling, it was just meh.
I would agree. And while you brought that up, so this is the third installment of the Fantastic Beasts series. And in most series, the middle movie is always like the turning point for the series. Do we feel like this was a turning point for Fantastic Beasts?
I feel like it was at least a little bit of a better outcome than the second. I think the second movie got like a lower, like super low rating.
But as far as like the plot, not like the audience score, but as far as like the plot and where they're heading with the series, did we feel like this movie was like a turning point? Because the only thing that I can compare it to is like think Goblet of Fire. Like when Voldemort came back at the end of Goblet of Fire, the whole feel of the series shifted. Like you're just not following Harry and his friends on adventures and they beat Voldemort or some version of Voldemort at the end of every installment. Voldemort is back. So what y'all gonna do now? Like that was the turning point for the Harry.
For a war.
That was the turning point for the Harry Potter series. But for Fantastic Beasts, for this to be the middle installment, should we consider this a turning point for the series? Because to me, this felt like a filler movie. This felt like you guys doing some stuff in between. Honestly, to me, I feel like the second movie, given the low score or whatever it got, the second movie felt more of a turning point than this one did.
In my opinion, this felt like a conclusion movie. Like, not that they executed on it well, but like they had the big vote. Oh my gosh, we're going to have a war between the non-magic users and wizards across the world. Blah blah blah. He's trying to become the leader of all magic society, and he lost the war. We had a battle. He did the great fall and disappeared. Like this felt like a conclusion. This felt like the end of Fantastic Beasts. Will Grindelwald come back? Like that's what this felt like. Just not well executed.
I
I
feel
don't.
you. I
What's
feel
up,
you,
Ralph?
except however, it's really not the conclusion because Dumbledore still hasn't gotten the Elder Wand from Grindelwald either.
Right. So the
It's
end
like
of
I
it.
know. It's just it.
Right. I agree with both you guys. Like this felt like my opinion, and if I didn't say this before, because I forgot to say this at the beginning, this is spoilers. I'm sorry. I should have said this like 10 minutes ago, but I should have said this like 10 minutes ago, but what was I finna say? I feel like Dumbledore should have won. I mean, not Dumbledore. Grindelwald should have won that big election. I feel like that would have been the turning point because then it's going to be like, oh shit, what are you guys going to do now that he won and he's about to push his agenda? I'll agree with Ryan is because he didn't win. So, of course, I only agree with Ryan is because there is nothing for me to take away or to ponder about what's going to happen in the next movie. But I agree with Ralph that this can't be a conclusion movie because in the end, Dumbledore essentially has to get the Elder Wand from Grindelwald. So it's not a conclusion of the series, but the way that they left it was like, I could see it from the point of what's Grindelwald going to do next now that his big major plan to take over the wizarding world didn't succeed. But to make a power move, a power play that big, I feel like they should have just went Infinity War and let that man win and everybody scramble to figure out what they was going to do next.
Yeah.
The next two movies could have been like Dumbledore's Army Part 2. Like we got little militias here and there. We're trying to go against all of the wizard community across the entire globe. Like yeah, that would have built up anticipation. But in this movie, the good guys won again. Like it wasn't. There's nothing to anticipate.
It felt like an extended Sailor Moon episode. Like we know y'all gonna win at the end, but it really took y'all 2.5 hours to get to the end. I don't feel like this was a turning point for the series. If anything, the last movie felt more like a turning point in the series is because then the group that we were, trekking with for the first movie and the second movie, they got split. Queenie left, Lita died, Newt stuck with his brother that he don't really fool with for real. Tina's still here. Dumbledore got his little thing back. Like, now everybody's kind of split. Dumbledore has... Not Dumbledore. I keep calling this man Dumbledore. Grindelwald has pushed his agenda, and now he got these followers. He done told Credence that he a Dumbledore. He got all these people on his side. Like, this was like Half-Blood Prince to me.
Yeah.
When everything got split. But this right here just didn't do it for me. And the reason that this didn't do it for me, too many plot lines. Let me just go ahead and dive into that. There was too many plot lines they were trying to explore in the story, and some plot lines got too much attention that took away from what they were actually trying to do. So the premise of the movie is the Secrets of Dumbledore, trying to explain Dumbledore and Grindelwald's relationship. But while we're trying to pursue that, let's stick in Newt and these animals. This whole scene when he was playing with them little scorpion crabs took 10 minutes to save his brother. For what?
Listen, that was funny.
It was
That was actually a funny scene.
That was
that was
funny.
one of the few scenes that got some emotion out of me. Not
I
gonna cap.
get that it was funny. I get it. But why did we spend 10 minutes with him trying to save his brother when the main premise of the movie is trying to stop Grindelwald?
That was the only part of the movie that had some feeling, though. That's the sad part. Like I don't disagree with you. But even the way me and Ralph just reacted to that was the only part of the movie that made me go,
I get it.
yeah, I like
get
that.
it. But if the main premise of the movie is Dumbledore versus Grindelwald, I understand why they put it in there, because they're keeping the term of the movie Fantastic Beasts. So you've got to throw some animals. You have to throw some magical beasts in there. Otherwise, why are you calling this jump Fantastic Beasts? But I don't feel like we had to spend 10 minutes on that. Other thing, they're trying to do the Queenie and Jacob. They're trying to pick up on that because they got split up in the second movie. So they're trying to deal with that. Then they're trying to introduce new characters. Like they're trying to give Lita's brother a bigger role, which he didn't really get no bigger role. Like he showed up twice. Like he showed up, tried to trick Grindelwald. The next time we saw this man, Grindelwald figured him out. Then they put the other black witch in it. I forgot her name. Like the professor.
The professor.
Yeah.
They tried to put her in there. And she was cool. But her presence, I would say it like this. Had they removed her out of the movie still would have been the same.
I agree. She was semi-interesting, but she didn't add much to the plot at all either. If anything, she was like, I wouldn't even know what it like comedic relief. I wouldn't even call her that. She was just kind of there.
I enjoyed her being there. Like we see a black witch, which we didn't get a lot in the Harry Potter series. All we had was Dean Thomas, and after a while, we barely saw Dean Thomas anymore. So I'll give them that. Especially with they killed old girl back in the second movie. I'll give them that.
Yeah. I feel like they had to make up for that.
I liked her.
I feel like they were trying to make up for that.
Maybe. But I feel like there was too many plots they were trying to explore. And I kind of feel like there were certain points of the movie when I was whispering the king and I was like, what is going on? Like, what are y'all doing? What are we doing in this movie right now?
Yeah.
So and I forgot about this plot line. Then they were trying to pursue the plot line of whether Credence was a Dumbledore or not, which turns out he is, and he's Dumbledore's brother's son. And I was like, okay, why are we putting this in the movie? You know? And then turns out he's about to die. So, is he even, if they were to make another movie after this, is he even going to be relevant? Or is he going to be dead when the next movie come on?
I think
it's like when they talk about his character and they try to foreshadow, they was like, oh, he could, if we can't save him, but he could possibly save us. And then they was talking about his power, because even Grindelwald said he got the power to defeat Dumbledore. I'm assuming they're just going to use Credence as a glass cannon. Like, we're going to blow you, we're going to use you one time, blow up Grindelwald, win the day, and it seems like that's what they're preparing him for, but it's predictable.
I don't know, I think he's going to die.
That's what he said. He was dying. They said the Phoenix was hanging around him because he's dying. So I don't know where we left him. He looked really weak when he finally got to link up with his daddy. So I don't know if he's gonna be dead by the time we get to the fourth movie, or if he's just gonna be in this dying state in the fourth movie. And then if they do that, my next question would be, why'd you even put him in the movie?
I think it was just a conclusion piece, honestly.
Because at the beginning, it was like, we want Credence, this Aurelius, because he has this uncontrollable power that we could use for, like, mass destruction. And then in Crimes of Grindelwald, locks him in by saying that you're a Dumbledore. And then we get to the third movie, and then apparently he's been talking to his daddy the whole time. Like, when did that happen? When y'all start talking to each other? Like, how did he magically get a mirror that he can write messages to his daddy and Hogsmeade? I just thought about that.
Yeah, that kind of threw me for a
And
loop.
then
Well, then wasn't his dad unaware of who he was at the time? Like he just saw messages popping up in the mirror. Was like, what is this cryptic message?
it made it so you remember that scene where Dumbledore and Aberforth was in the room and they were talking, and he was like, "That's your son." I feel like he knew that was his son, or maybe he knew that he had a son out there, and he just didn't think it was Credence. That could have been it.
Because they did explore the fact that Albus did not have a brotherly relationship with Aberforth. They
Right.
were more so friends, but they weren't brothers. So Aberforth didn't feel like he can confide in him and actually trying to, say, hey, I think I have, a son out there. But he just kept it in to himself, and every time he would see the message, that was pretty much a constant reminder to him that he did have a son out there, or somebody was writing to him that knew about him. So he just kept erasing it, as in, I don't want anybody else to know.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just keep wiping it off.
And I feel that part. I guess the missing plot hole is, how did y'all magically get the same mirror that talks to each other?
Yeah, that's what got me. I was like, y'all just kind of put that in there, and when I saw it, you weren't looking at me, but I looked over at you, and I was like, wait, what? Like they
how
got
y'all
a mirror
get
that
the
can talk to
same?
each other now?
Yeah, and now he's about to die, so I get that. I feel like they let Grindelwald get away because they want the audience to imagine what's Grindelwald going to do next. But here's my other hot take. I don't see Grindelwald as a compelling villain to even care enough to what he's going to do next.
I mean,
the girl.
It just, I don't know. You can go ahead, Ryan. Let me form my thought before it comes out, Ryan.
Even as a villain that came off as intimidating, his little assistant in a blue dress was more intimidating than him.
Yeah.
Like being real. That was the one character that made me go, "Hey, don't mess with her."
When she show up on the
don't
scene,
mess with her.
When she showed up on the scene, when they showed up at the where were they? Germany, when he got freed of his crimes, and they were standing there, and they saw her walking through the crowd. They was like, "Oh shit, something to go down." I said, when you see that bitch, when you see that bitch, know you in some trouble. You bitches in trouble.
Now that's where I agree with y'all with the acting, where maybe Johnny Depp would have did better, because her presence as a character, she looked intimidating. She came off as scary. I'm sitting here like, I want to see her fight Dumbledore. I want to see her do some shit.
But I feel like,
because she actually scared me.
I actually liked her and Johnny Depp together, because she was like, the best thing I can compare it to, and you guys may not know, but like Lex Luthor, if you ever watch like the Superman cartoons, Lex Luthor, and he has his assistant Mercy, who was like the killer robot girl. That's how I saw it. Like Grindelwald is Lex Luthor, and this is bad bitch assistant on the side. Like when she pull up on the scene,
it's about to go down,
right? Yeah. And I just didn't find. But going back to my point is that I just didn't find Grindelwald a compelling villain, and it's going back to my point that I wish, and I think Ralph said this too, I wish they would have given us more into the background of Dumbledore and Grindelwald to at least make us care for something in that relationship. Like, why is Grindelwald doing what he's doing? Why is Dumbledore, why do you guys want him to be so involved? Like, for those who are previous Harry Potter fans, we know why we want Dumbledore involved, because Dumbledore is hot shit. He's big shit. You know why you want Dumbledore involved. But in regards to this relationship, why do you want us to care about this? And if I don't want to call, I think I already called him this, but I didn't want to come up here and call Grindelwald a villain. So I don't really think he's a true villain. I would call him more of an adversary, or just the antagonist of the movie. But
antagonist, yeah.
I'm not finding him compelling enough. And I don't know if that has to do with the actor switch, because if they had kept Johnny Depp in this installment, would it just would have went the same way, except we're looking at Johnny Depp instead of Mikkelsen? I don't know. I couldn't tell you that.
It might have been different. Let me say two things because I had some technical difficulties the first time y'all brought it up. I don't like the exchange they took out the whole sexual appeal of the Grindelwald and Dumbledore relationship. Now let me elaborate when I say that. When we first saw Grindelwald and Dumbledore together, it left room for the imagination. As a gay man, like that's interesting. Gay wizards, it gives you to imagine. Like now with the new Grindelwald, like who wants to imagine that he's not sexually appealing to the eye? Like Dumbledore is. Like you look at Dumbledore, you see this gentleman. It's giving daddy. It's giving I'm just saying, like the old Grindelwald, Johnny Depp, like even though he did look exotic and unique, it was not unattractive. Like it wasn't weird. Like this new Grindelwald, it's giving like a weird old Republican. Like who wants to visualize that in their head? Like it took away and I also took away like the beauty and the beast aspect from it. Like you see Grindelwald, he got the mark on his eye. He looks all exotic and bestial. And you got Dumbledore, who's a gentleman, and you can say prince, like, and it gave them that dynamic. The new Grindelwald, it's not giving that. It's giving, the new Grindelwald is giving Donald Trump with magic, and I said that like it's giving Donald Trump. Like I just like, and I feel like my fellow gay mobsters can agree. Like we can't imagine that. Like we can't sit down and be like, dang, like, I want a relationship like Dumbledore and the new Grindelwald. Who would want that? Like
I'll give him that.
It just wasn't given to me.
I'll give him that.
It didn't give the sexual appeal that it should have gave.
I'll give him that because when you guys
sex appeal does matter. I'll give you that.
Because it's when you look at relationships, like even when you look at hetero relationships and entertainment, it's like you want to be drawn to this relationship. You want to connect something you want to feel the romance. And where is the romance coming from? Dumbledore looking like this and Grindelwald looking like that. And it goes back to the fact to what Ralph and Ryan said is that y'all didn't really care much about the relationship, and it's that the romance wasn't there. Like if we want to go Beauty and the Beast, if we want to talk about Beauty and the Beast, he looks like he's a furry, but you feel for the romance between the beautiful princess and the furry because the romance was there.
Right, I feel like it would have got to that had they not switched the actors though, because you look at Johnny Depp's Grindelwald, like Beauty and the Beast, like the romance comes from Dumbledore loving him in spite of his differences. Dumbledore still loved this exotic looking man. He got this blue eye. Like he looks cringy to some people, but Dumbledore loves him for that. Just like Beauty and the Beast, she loved him when he was a beast. She loved him when he was normal. So it took away from that. Like he just seemed like a normal old Republican with a wand. Like and I was like, don't nobody want to imagine that. Imagine if they would have added in a kissing scene. Now, I would rather want to see Johnny Depp's Grindelwald and Dumbledore in a kiss scene rather than the new Grindelwald. Like that kiss scene would have been disgusting. I would have been like, cut the cameras, we finna go home, to me, as a gay man looking at that, it didn't give, and they didn't give enough. Had they gave enough romance with the new Grindelwald, maybe, I don't know, the new Grindelwald seemed like he was homophobic. You look at him and see homophobic, like Republican, like I'm sorry, that's what I got when I looked at the new Grindelwald, like homophobic, anti-abortion, pro-life, like how do y'all make a man that looks like this gay? Like it has to be like I don't know. Okay,
I would say this. I would say this though. I'm gonna take it a step back. They never confirmed if Grindelwald was gay or not. They just saying that Dumbledore was gay and he was in love with Grindelwald. What it seemed like to me that the relationship was one-sided. That Grindelwald, it was one of those things where Grindelwald peeped that Dumbledore had some feelings for him and he was using that to his advantage.
And it goes into like the whole imagination thing. Like it's one-sided, but you could imagine if Grindelwald did like Dumbledore back. Like with this new Grindelwald, you don't want to imagine that. Like we don't care if you like him back or not. You look a mess. Like you look a mess. That's what it gave. Like, ain't nobody can imagine that. I'm not finna let my baby
it could have
imagine
been.
that. Like,
And I want to put this. I want to put this out here, and maybe that might have been another thing that yes, we're putting out there that Dumbledore is gay, but whoa, hold your horses, not too gay. Not too gay. It's just him. Nobody else.
yeah.
And it could have been that because the recent news was that the scenes that when Dumbledore did like profoundly say that he was in love with Grindelwald, they took that piece out in the production in China. Ain't nobody see that part.
That was the first.
Ain't nobody see that
That's
part.
the first 10 minutes of the movie, though. That's the
Yeah,
crazy
they
part.
took out 6 seconds of the movie because they did not want to put that in there. So it could have just been, and think about the same thing they did for the Eternals. Yeah, I forgot what country it was, but they weren't going to show Eternals at all because Fastos was gay.
Mm-hmm.
So it could have just been like, I think, for me, I think it goes back to what I said before, is that for some reason, they felt some expectation to put it flat out there to make it known that Dumbledore was gay, and that was it. We don't want to do nothing else with it. He gay. We gonna let him say that he was in love with Grindelwald, and that's it. And if you're gonna, and I feel like, and I guess my complaint is if you're gonna put that in there, just if you're not going to flesh it out, then why even put it in there?
Exactly.
I think you could have told told the story without putting it in there, because they didn't do it in the last.
Right.
They didn't do it in the last movie.
Right.
But even then, I would like, now. Of course, I'm coming from a different perspective. I wouldn't see it as tasteless inclusion. I would see it as just bad romance writing. Like I understand, like, just throwing in inclusion to try to add it in there and try to appeal to people and then doing it badly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like that's the underlining issue here. I legit feel like the underlining issue is that they didn't do a good job writing. If Grindelwald was a woman or Dumbledore was a woman and it was a heterosexual relationship, I still think it would have fell flat. I still think it would have been an issue if it was Dumbledina and Grindelwald. It still would have fell flat.
I guess I'll give him that. I'll give him that because look at the way that Ron and Hermione were written. Like
Harry and the girl from when they was practicing for the war.
Like their written romance really ain't like, I don't read the book and be like, oh my god, I want to romance like like Ron and Hermione, like, and it could have been what Ron said, that they just don't know how to write romance. But my counter argument to that is Jacob and Queenie.
Exact. I was just gonna say they have a perfect romantic story. Like, Queenie is my favorite character in Fantastic Beasts. I'm Team Queenie because she did her business in this third movie.
So
I feel like it's distasteful, like you said. Distasteful inclusion.
Let's look at the way they. Let's look at the way they wrote that heterosexual relationship. Let's look at Newt and Tina. That's 2.
I was just gonna say, what about Newt?
Now, you feel like Newt and Tina's was good, well written? You feel like that was well written?
I'm not gonna.
I feel like
I would say that it was written
character.
Better than what we got between Dumbledore and Grindelwald.
Okay.
I don't think
better.
I don't think it could have been. If you want to say it's the writing, you can say it's the writing. I just think that they didn't have any intention on expanding this relationship past the fact of establishing that Dumbledore is gay. I think the only reason they put that in there just to justify why everybody wants him to go against Grindelwald. And they had to explain that little blood brother thing and why Dumbledore was using everybody to move against Grindelwald and not going after him himself. They had to put that in there. And after that, this is how I know. This is how you know they had to put that in there. They made that the first 2-3 minutes of the movie. And that was that.
And they didn't do it. They didn't do a good enough job even explaining that. Like, in terms of plot, there were 2 things I really desired out of this movie. One, where did y'all's relationship, y'all bromance, y'all relationship, whatever, however they could have written it, because they did a poor job at it. Where did this start? Like, where was Grindelwald this leader who you just felt so compelled to follow? Like, according to God, he just wasn't handsome. I'll give you that. He's not a pleasant to look at man. He wasn't that handsome. But like, at what point was Grindelwald this person that made you so compelled to follow him? What was his leadership skills? Where was his motives? What were his ambitions? They didn't show that enough. And I would even say with the war, and why so many wizards were following him, they didn't show that enough. Like in Harry Potter, you see, what was the guy with the blonde hair in Slytherin's name? I'm having a brain fart.
Draco.
What was his name?
Draco.
Like, you even hear Draco throw out slurs and everything as a child. And you see how it's embedded in the magic community where they don't like half-bloods and muggles in general. We don't even get to see much of that in Fantastic Beasts.
I want to counter that point.
Why are folks following him again?
Because of the end of the second movie. This is my counterpoint. So you remember he had the rally. He brought all those people to the rally. And you remember he was like, there are Aurors in here that are trying to stop me from giving you this message.
I'll give you that.
And you remember the Aurors came down. One of them got scared and killed somebody at the rally.
And killed that girl.
And that's when all hell broke loose. So now we're coming off after that, where everybody who was at the rally then spread the news that the Aurors came and started killing us. We was peacefully gathering. We didn't even do nothing, and they just killed people. So I feel like his followers was growing out of that situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
it's just out of all the things they could have shown, they could have shown more to make me be invested into the things that was going on in this movie.
Here's my thing. I don't think this should have been called Fantastic Beasts. I've said this a long time ago, that when I found out that the main focus of this series was going to be the relationship between Dumbledore and Grindelwald, and how Dumbledore eventually gets the Elder Wand, why is this called Fantastic Beasts? This easily could have been Dumbledore and the blah blah blah, and Dumbledore and the blah blah blah. If that's essentially what you guys were going to do anyway, why try to cover this with Fantastic Beasts? Now, I'll give them the first movie, which they did a really good job of emphasizing why are they calling this Fantastic Beasts while having Grindelwald on the side as a villain. But as soon as they got into the second movie and introduced Dumbledore, the Fantastic Beasts part went to the back burner, and that was the focus. That became the focus of the series. And if y'all was gonna do that anyway, why even call this Fantastic Beasts? And that goes back to my point about why we were spending 10 minutes with Newt and his brother dancing with them crabs. Because you have to put the Fantastic Beasts in there. You name the movie.
That shit was funny as hell.
You named the movie Fantastic Beasts, so you have
Portia, listen to Galvin. That's 3 out of 4 right there. That was the only thing that even grabbed anybody.
Y'all not listening
that was
to
the
me.
only
Y'all
thing.
are not listening to me. I'm not saying that that was a bad. I'm not saying that was a bad scene. I'm just saying that they put it in there because they're still trying to establish that this is a Fantastic Beasts movie. But y'all threw out the fact that this was a Fantastic movie. Right, but y'all threw out the window that this was a Fantastic Beasts movie in the second movie. Y'all did that a long time ago. Y'all can't even call this thing. Y'all
go for it.
What Ralph is saying. Y'all didn't switch the whole feel of the movie, that y'all just throwing in these animals in here to make up for the fact that you're still trying to make this a Fantastic Beasts franchise. And that's another thing where I feel like they are failing with this series. So my last question.
I feel like they lost focus, essentially.
That's what I feel like.
They lost focus of what they was actually aiming for.
So this is what leads to my last question.
I mean, I do like how they still incorporating the beast, though. Like, they could have just said, forget them. And the third movie is kind of contingent upon a Fantastic Beast once you think about it from beginning to end. Like, they do need that little thing that Newt was looking for. So I guess it could go, it's a two-way street to me. Like, they still incorporated it good in the third. Because had they not, had they did it wrong with the beast, Grindelwald would have won. He then killed this animal and brought him back. I feel like they did kind of lose sight of it, but they still trying to intertwine it in. I can respect them for that. Like, because they could have said fuck it all together and be like, we not studying these animals no more. We talking about Grindelwald and Dumbledore and going about their business, but they are still trying to include it for the people who are watching it for the animals. Because I mean, that's what caught my eye. All the exotic, cute little animals running around, like the little platypus stealing everybody money. That was cute. Like, the little green thing in his pocket. Which is that's my second favorite character. It's Queenie. Then it's the little green thing. Newt be told. They're my top two because that little green thing. He's smarter than I thought he was, and it's interesting.
I feel them. I think it would have been better, and me and King talked about this, if they kept Newt the MC of Fantastic Beasts, and they had a different kind of villain than Grindelwald. Maybe it's some guy who wants to illegally breed animals or illegally enslave animals.
There we go.
That's what I thought it was going to be.
For his purpose to take over the wizarding world. And in the end, he could have been working for Grindelwald. Like, he's one of his operatives. And that's just part of his one phase plan. But to have... Because essentially, when they introduced Grindelwald's immediate adversary is Dumbledore. Newt is only involved because he knows Dumbledore. Versus Harry Potter, where Harry Potter and Voldemort have a direct adversary relationship. And Dumbledore is only involved because he feels like he needs to protect Harry. Everybody else is involved because Harry. Newt is involved because of Dumbledore, but he's supposed to be the main character of this whole series.
And that's the funny thing. I do agree with you. I feel like they should just make poachers the freaking enemy. Like some big poaching ring or gang, because the only parts of this movie where they executed well on, and I'm glad that you said it, Galvin, was the beast. In the very beginning, when that bird picked him up and wrapped him in his tail and blew up so that it could turn his belly into wings, I was like, that's pretty dope. That's pretty cool. Like, I was actually interested in the beast. That's the only part I was interested in.
Yeah.
I feel like what you're saying, Portia, is very accurate. And I feel like they should have went back and said, let's focus on the beast. Let's focus on some poachers. Because even in the beginning scene where Newt went against the villains and they used the killing curse on that big, what's the name of the creature? Krillin? Krillin. They named him deer.
That was so funny to me because where y'all get that from? I swear I wanted them to mess up and say Chillum real quick.
Or Children.
I wanted them to say Chillum real quick.
But that scene was intense. It made me want to learn more about Newt's story and how he is collecting his beasts and going against poachers and everything.
Yeah.
I like, now that I've watched this, I do agree with you. They should have refocused and said, hold on. This ain't Dumbledore and friends.
Exactly.
This is Newt and his beast. This is Fantastic Beasts. Because that's where they did a really good job executing in this entire movie. Those are the only parts where they executed well in this movie.
That's what I was saying. Like, with the first movie, they did a very good job of doing that. Like, we seeing how he interacts with all the animals, how he thinks quick on his feet, using the animals, how the animals have these different purposes, how you take care of them. Plus, having Grindelwald on the side as a villain. But it wasn't just Grindelwald. It's that introduction phase. And they did a pretty good job with the second one, too. But this one right here was just, y'all, to me, though well executed, cute parts, real funny moments, kiki haha. I feel like they only put the animals in there because they still trying to make this a Fantastic Beasts movie. Which leads into my final question. What you was about to say?
I also say I feel like they may tie the animals back into the next couple movies with, because Grindelwald could use it as his last plan. Use these beasts against these witches and wizards. So they maybe incorporate that back into
that's if they get
movies,
that's if they get a next movie. This is my final question. This is my final question.
I was gonna say, if they don't get him another movie, that'll be booty, because all these other trash movies that got sequels and these third and fourths, that's crazy if they don't get him another movie. It wasn't that bad to not give them another movie. That's what I feel like.
But here it is. Here it is. If y'all would let me say the goddamn question.
Calm down.
I've been trying to get this. I've been trying to get this this question out for the past 10 minutes, yo. I'm trying to get the question out because every time I try to ask the question, y'all come in and basically give y'all answer to the question that I'm trying to ask. So let me ask it, and then we gonna come back.
Go on and cook. It's your time. You in the kitchen, cook it up.
Y'all putting grease on the stove before I put the pan down. Like let me put the pan down first. So Warner Brothers said they are waiting to see how well The Secrets of Dumbledore performs before greenlighting any more sequels to the movie. Based on this whole conversation, do y'all feel like they should greenlight the rest of the series?
Of course.
Yes, because it wasn't a bad movie. It was an average movie. And like Galvin said, as many average movies that get continuations, yes. If this is going to be an average 5-movie saga, let it go. Y'all made the money. It's not horrible. It's just really average. It got some good moments and a lot of moments. Yeah. Keep it going. Just give me something to watch. Okay. Y'all just going to get average ratings throughout.
I feel like it's still potential to take it to the top with these last 2 movies. Like, even though the first one was, good, the second one was good, the third one was there, y'all got 2 more movies to turn this around. Like, really 1 more, in my opinion. If y'all don't do good with number 4, like number 5, y'all can go and put that in the trash can. But y'all got 2 more opportunities to make this a big moment. Like, and I'm gonna give y'all that. People, they deserve a second chance. I didn't finish the first one, finished the second one, liked it. The third one fall my sleep sometimes, like Food was saying. But this gives them potential to actually make up for it. Like, bring out that 4th movie with some pizzazz. Include the Beast. First of all, bring Johnny Depp back. Let's start there. Let's bring Johnny Depp back. I don't even care about let's bring him back. Like, come back. Come here. Follow me to the bag.
I'm about to get back on the movie.
Bring him back. Bring him back. Incorporate these beasts into Grindelwald's plan. And y'all got it. Y'all got it. If y'all do those 2 things, in my opinion, if y'all bring Johnny Depp back and incorporate the Fantastic Beasts into Grindelwald's final plan, y'all got it. Even though I do want to see Grindelwald and Dumbledore be gay a little bit, this not needed. Y'all, we still live in times where gay folk just can't be on TV like we want them to be, and that's fine. I guess the other thing is y'all got another 2 years to get that together.
I want to put this out there because we have been talking about the gay relationship, but I think the thing that we forgot to mention is that this is in the 1920s. So how how out there
we did forget that is a big factor.
They are in a fantasy world where wizards and fantastic beasts exist, but this is the 1920s. So how even open could anybody be?
I agree.
You want to know what's crazy? I don't know if y'all remember, but it's only because I rewatched Fantastic Beasts 1, and that scene where where Newt's girl they was about to take a memory and possibly put her in the electric chair. One of the little nurses was this black woman, and she looked really give me a tasteful word. Y'all know what I want to say.
Jim Crowish. She looked real Jim Crowish. Go say it, 'cause I know
real Jim Crowish. Yes, very Jim Crowish.
It gave
very Jim Crowish. and when I saw her, I was like, why they got her looking like that? Then I thought about it.
It's the 1920s.
It's back in the day.
So I think we missed
it's back in the day.
As much as we went on a rant about we wanted to see more from the relationship, the other part of it could have been they just couldn't. It's the 1920s. But my counter to that would have been like they still could have gave us a little bit something like a forbidden lovers type thing. You could have still did that. They do it all the time, but I just want to throw that in there. It was something I thought about.
And wizards got more freedom.
Yeah, they can.
And wizards don't necessarily they kind of
That explains why I ain't see that many black folk. Because now that I think about it, 1920s was like a little bit after they freed the slaves, so they weren't fooling with the black people. So now I just made a connection. Like when you said this was in the 1920s, a lot of light bulbs clicked for me. I was like, oh, okay. Now I see why they got this black.
You said the setting. Now it makes sense.
It explains
Had to
a
remember the
lot.
setting.
Like it explains a lot. It does. It definitely does. And I'll let y'all have that. Y'all can have that. Y'all can have that.
What about you, Ralph? You green light or stop light?
Yeah, I'm green lighting it. Like he said, it deserves a second chance. They've at least gotten it back on track for the Fantastic Beasts, at least being included. You know, so I feel like they deserve a second chance, a second go. Now, if this fourth movie is not including Fantastic Beasts, just throw it out.
Or if they we show up in the fourth movie and ain't no animals in it at all. Y'all caught this what?
I'm done. All they got is his platypus and that stick bug.
that stick bug is a beast. Y'all gotta admit though, that stick bug is a beast. Like
got
you're a beast. I want to have one. Yeah. I want one. I need one. I am one.
Stick bug.
So you out here stealing?
He got a stick bug.
Y'all gonna be
the stick bug didn't steal the platypus though. I want the stick bug in my pocket. Like,
oh my goodness.
Was that it?
But yeah, I do agree that they should greenlight it, but that's about it. Without going too much more into the movie, because we already said a lot.
We did. I mean, if you need to bring up something, if you need to bring up something from the movie to further press your point, you do it, big dog.
Why are you watching the review when you ain't seen the movie yet?
Good, that's a nice point.
Who ain't seen the movie?
Yeah, like folks ain't.
Wait,
no, that's what I'm saying. Like for the audience,
for the audience
that may be watching this and saying, "Oh my gosh, I don't want to be spoiled."
I was gonna say, who over here ain't seen the movie?
Ralph been sitting here quiet.
I got 5 and you ain't seen the movie.
You ain't seen this.
Listen, I got Spark Notes up. I'm looking at it now. Okay, I got the Spark Notes up.
Boy,
save that $10 movie ticket, King. I feel it.
Ralph, you really ain't seen the movie for real? We just
no.
I watched it.
I was going to say you need to log out because why are you? And you
log out.
Said a lot. Like you haven't. Like you have been real quiet the last 30 minutes. So.
I really thought
That's how rumors start.
That's how rumors
start.
The rumor started between the 4 of us. It's a dangerous game. But I am team green light and I am team stop light. I'm team green light because I do want to.
So you team yellow light.
Yeah, I don't know why I did.
Yeah, like keep going, but slow down. Like keep going, but pump the brakes.
Only reason why I said I'm team stoplight because I could see them ending the series right here. My reason why they could is that here's my thing. Outside of like the plot and stuff, the last Fantastic Beasts movie came out in 2018. Y'all came out with the 3rd installment 4 years later, switch actors and everything. And for y'all to have us wait 4 years to come out with an average movie, it's kind of like whose attention are you trying to keep? Because with the first 2 Fantastic Beasts movie, yes, you're getting the crowd. You're getting people back into Harry Potter. Everything's jumping. And then it's like y'all dropped off the face of the earth. And then y'all trying to get us back into it with the Secrets of Dumbledore. And I'm going to be real. The first couple trailers that they put out did not make me excited for this movie. So
how can you make a compelling trailer without a compelling movie?
So then it goes into y'all wait 4 years later, come out with this movie. Sure, y'all can make some more, but for y'all to come back and make this average movie, it's kind of like y'all really had us wait 4 years for this. So I could see them stopping it right here that this could have been their experiment. Can we keep that audience? Can we keep that crowd 4 years later after the last installment? It didn't keep me. If they want to make another one, if they want to make another one, sure. What you say, King?
I said, so you left.
You left King at the movie theater.
So you walked out the movie theater and said, y'all lost me.
I didn't walk out the movie theater.
She kept looking at me like, what's going on?
For
and
real,
I'm looking at her like, I'm about to ask you, where you invited me to the movie. Like, what?
But I I'm just saying though, like for you to have us wait 4 years and then you come out with an average movie. I wasn't not saying that I was expecting something over the top, like expecting y'all to wow me, but I wasn't expecting me to come out and being like, okay, it was a movie.
But it could be
Especially
what we
with
talked about earlier, though, about it being like a filler, you know, just the middle of the series.
But still, Dan, you got me waiting 4 years for a filler movie.
Well, COVID messed that up too. Let's be
But you know,
fair.
it's 5 movies. One of them gonna have to be a filler. Out of 5 movies, one of them 5 got to be a filler. One of them 5 has to be lackluster.
Yeah.
Can't nobody just keep up the energy with 5 movies. I've never seen a series keep up the energy with each movie. Like one of them is gonna have to be
got
lackluster.
our favorite Harry Potter movies.
And this,
we definitely know what our
movie,
favorites are.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give y'all that.
And this actually might be the movie that makes you a fan again. Like you might see this and be like, and see them before and be like, oh my god, like I love Harry Potter, like I love.
But what's going to make
me on that last movie?
But what's going to make me see 4? I'll say this: I will be Team Greenlight because of what you guys said. Let's go ahead and get this average movie out the way, and let's come back and pull out the big guns for 4 and 5. But it depends.
Right there. That's the reason you should see 4.
But listen though. We all agree that this was an average movie. If Warner Brothers is waiting to see how this movie performs and everybody is giving this average scores or maybe not even like good scores at all, is that going to push them to even make 4 and 5? Because y'all saying is that go ahead and come back harder with 4 and 5. But if this is the movie that's going to decide if there's going to be a 4 and 5, I don't think it's going. If this is the movie.
Thing is, well, here's the thing: ratings play a part, but the real determining factor is that money. And the thing is, their box office did well. If their box office results surpassed their expectations, that's all the green light they need, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, ratings is one thing, but if we're still making money, we making money.
Right, because they have no give a fuck what we talk about when it comes to the money.
That's
just retrospect.
And I'll give you that. But I feel like that would just ruin the whole franchise. If Warner Brothers decides to, because we just talked about the integrity of the movie, how this is really not even Fantastic Beasts. If they decide to scrap the integrity of the movie just because they're making the money, then here you go. If they make the money off this average movie and they press play on 4 and 5, these better be the best Fantastic Beast movies I've ever seen. I'm gonna say that if they're going to, let this average movie be an average movie and greenlight the rest of the series, I need to see more.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
But at the same time, if they're going to press play and greenlight, then I don't know.
They got to come with it.
It's basically that. I just hate when, because this is what I'm going to compare it to. This is what I want to say. I would hate to see Fantastic Beasts turn into a Fast and the Furious franchise. That y'all just keep making Fantastic Beasts movies because when every time one of them comes out, y'all know y'all gonna make the money and make another one. Because I'm gonna ask you a question. What is Fast and the Furious about now? And I would hate
it went from street racers to Power Rangers.
And I would hate
I haven't seen it since Too Fast, Too Furious.
But listen, I would hate for Fantastic Beasts to turn into that type of series. Because we're already seeing it. We've said it throughout this whole podcast episode. But I would hate to see Fantastic Beasts turn into something like that just because Monday morning, y'all made enough money in the box office. So let's make another Fantastic Beasts movie because we know this average movie can bring in the money. We can continue making average movies. What's up?
I mean, Ralph said it best the other day. Money talk, bullshit walk. So Now that's just the society that we live in. Like when they make this money, they could give two fucks about what we think. They got their coin. Like they don't give a fuck. We sitting on this podcast talking about this is an ass movie, girl. We just made $80 million, and y'all sit on the Blerd mouth talk about us. Like that's how they
And the
feel.
thing
Like,
and there are people who are going to watch this movie for name alone. Like there's a
exactly.
good chunk of people. I don't care if I dislike it. I grew up on Harry Potter. I'm gonna watch it. I'm damn near one of those people. I can
That's-
talk all the.
Yeah.
I can critique it all I want.
I feel
But
you.
I'm still going to see the next Fantastic Beast
Yeah.
only because I grew up on Harry Potter. I want to see where this goes.
Right.
I
That's
want
how
to see where it ends.
That's how I'm with X-Men. Even though the last X-Men movies were trash, if they drop another one, I'm going to see it because I'm an X-Men fan. I'm going to see
I
it.
feel y'all.
And if it's booty, I'm
Right.
going to watch it
Maybe-
again and make
Yeah.
sure if it's still booty. And when I watch it the second time, like,
The next 3 Marvel movies could be like Multiverse of Madness, and the 2 Marvel movies after that could be trash. But because you grew up on Marvel Foop and you love it,
we in there.
you're still going to watch every single one that come after that.
She in there the night before. It dropped Friday. She in there Thursday. Every
I
time.
didn't go watch.
She
I
in
didn't
there.
watch. I didn't go watch
and-
Morbius though.
Yeah.
Who watched Morbius in the first place?
And some people went
Morbius
to go
was
see
scary
it.
to me. I was like, that looks scary.
Some people went to go see it because they Marvel fans. Me, I didn't go see it. But
Is that in the
I feel
MCU
y'all.
or is it just a Marvel movie?
It's just a Marvel movie. But I feel y'all.
That-
Maybe it's just me caring too much about, because I mean, with me being a Harry Potter fan, I do care. Like with the same thing with the DC stuff, I have plenty of DC movies I hate because this is stuff I grew up with, and y'all just making trash movies because y'all making bank. And I feel it on the business side, but at the same time, it's just, I don't know. It could just be the fact that what Ryan said, we grew up with the stuff. So I would hate to see a franchise that I like, just go down the drain because y'all making money. Sure, they don't care about what I'm saying on the podcast, but for the people who do care and the people who walked in the movie and walked out the movie feeling the same way I did, I would hate for y'all to just get into the writing room and write some bullshit just because y'all know y'all gonna make some money off it from all name alone. I would hate to see it, but if that's how it goes, I mean, ain't nothing I can do about it. They not calling me in the room asking me to approve the screenplay. But I'm just saying,
I know this might be.
if it was up to me, I'll give them 4. My final words on it. If it was up to me, I will give them 4. If they can't do it in 4 movies, I'm finna Amazing Spider-Man this bitch, and y'all not finishing this series. If it was up to me, I'll give y'all 4. And if you can't give me 4, that's a wrap. Call it a day. Ain't no Fantastic Beasts.
So because you said the Amazing Spider-Man, I got a question. Even though Fantastic Beasts was trash or average, but we loved Harry Potter, if they said we're going to attempt a 3rd movie franchise in the Wizarding World, you'll give it like a fair chance.
I'll give them a fair chance because I'm giving
If they
House
don't
of the
put it in
Dragon. I'm
1920.
I'm giving House of the Dragon a fair chance. And what King is saying is depending on where they're putting. It's depending on where they're putting this. What it centers around. So the reason everybody went to come out to see Fantastic Beasts is because what we said at the beginning, it was about the animals. And then now they switching it up. But I mean, we're already invested in this point, so why not go finish out the rest of the series?
Right.
But the selling point of the series was the magical beast, the Fantastic Beasts. That was the selling point of the movie. Now the selling point of the franchise is Dumbledore versus Grindelwald. But if they come out with a 3rd franchise, I will give it a chance. Not just because I'm giving House of the Dragon a chance, it's just because I'm still a Harry Potter fan. And we've talked about this a lot, that they could spin off a whole bunch of series off this franchise alone. It just depends on what the focus is going to be and can they keep that focus up.
Facts.
I agree.
I think this whole franchise has been a challenge for them because there's nothing else to go with this series but the screenplays. This is their first, outside of Harry Potter, this is their first attempt of writing a Wizarding World story from front to back without J.K. Rowling writing a full book on any of this.
So question: is J.K. Rowling a good author? Like prior to Harry Potter, wasn't Harry Potter like just a little project she basically threw together on a train? Did she have other works that she written beforehand or even after?
She said I saw something a long time ago that she tried writing some other books, but they didn't sell as well as Harry Potter.
So here's the thing: she was involved in Fantastic Beasts. What if we just get better writers who can still use the source
and
material?
And that's what we were saying
stories?
about the game.
Like, I wonder if
that's what we were saying about the game. If they bust out a good ass story with Hogwarts Legacy, they can do a whole bunch of stuff without her with the pen and pad. But
yeah, because like no disrespect to the original writer, like you did a great job with Harry Potter. We all love it. You got your money. You still making millions and millions of dollars every year. But just because she had one great project doesn't mean she's just like top of the line of a writer. You know what I'm saying? Like even George R.R. Martin with his books, he did a great job, and he even helped out with an amazing game like Elden Ring. I don't know how much, but he's multifaceted. Maybe J.K. Rowling, she was a 7-book wonder.
Yeah, I don't think she's...
And we just need another writer to do the Wizarding World.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think she's... Yeah. She might be a one-series wonder. I mean, you know, my favorite author isn't, you know, shout out to him, but I feel you on that. Like, maybe Harry Potter was the best she had. Maybe that's it.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. And maybe they... I don't know. That's all this movie, I would agree with y'all. This movie was average to me. Too many plot points. I was confused at sometimes. The Dumbledore Grindelwald situation, I think they could have wrote that better.
They just could have left out that man was gay. Like the way y'all did that, y'all could have left that out. Like y'all,
I agree.
That wasn't needed for me. Like that wasn't needed. Like I thought I was gonna go in there and sit out and see like some gay representation in one of the mainstream franchises. Got in there and you said I was in love with Grindelwald twice. Like that's all you said.
Yeah, and
I love him. Love makes you do crazy things. You what?
And the other funny thing about this is that this movie is called The Secrets of Dumbledore, but they ain't tell us something that we didn't already know. Like him having a crush.
You know what?
Him having a crush on Grindelwald. We already knew that from Deathly Hallows. How his sister died.
You know what?
We already knew that from Deathly Hallows. Aberforth having a son. If that was the Dumbledore y'all was talking about with the secrets, I'll give y'all that. But the man,
I think so. I think that was it.
I think that was the secret.
I think that was the secret.
They said secrets.
That was profound.
They said secrets.
There were no secrets. there were no secrets.
The secret I told you, the secret was that man gay. Like that was left up for assumption in the other material, but this one he was finally was like, I love Dumbledore. I love Grindelwald.
If the author confirmed that the character is gay, is it a secret?
I'm just saying, J.K. Rowling said some crazy off the wall shit. So some of the shit she said, people don't pay no mind to her. Like she came on that Dumbledore.
No, they paid attention. They paid attention to this one. They paid attention to this one.
No, I don't like her because you come on there talking about Dumbledore gay, but before that you was like fuck trans people. Like ain't nobody studying nothing coming out your mouth. Like, but I guess you're right. They paid attention to that one. I guess they was. I don't know. They just. It wasn't too many.
That's the title of the episode right there. There were no secrets. Fantastic Beasts review.
The roll credits. Roll credits. There was no secret. I don't know. That's my final words on the movie. Anybody got some final words?
I have nothing else.
Bring Johnny Depp back. Bike. Bring him bike. I'm not playing with y'all. Like, bring him bike. Like, I see the other guy. And I ain't gonna do his acting was great. Like if he was supposed to be a wizard political figure, Donald Trump would have won. Yeah, you did that. I give you that. You acted right, but it was the visual for me. It was the visual. It took away like one of the main things, the visual and the imagination. Y'all took that from me as a little black gay boy in America. Y'all took that from me.
If I had final words, the graphics dope, choreography for the magic battles. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't know wizard battles could be that intense. Those are dope. The Fantastic Beasts and the creativity and how they move, how they shaped, how they look, the how they merge the different aspects of different animals. dope.
Mhm.
Everything else, oh, baby girl in the blue dress, Grindelwald's assistant, dope. Everything else, average.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'll give it.
What about you, Ralph?
Shout out to Queenie too. Shout out to Queenie. Y'all can't forget about Queenie. Because had Queenie
She got that
did what
blonde
she
hair
had,
in this movie. She changed her hair
she
color.
did what she had to
did what
do.
she had to do with Grindelwald, all that would have fell apart. Like Queenie was a G from beginning to end, man. And I love her for that. Like her character, like she's so fragile and emotional. The fact that she held it together while she was with Grindelwald and didn't give him everything. That's A+. Kisses, girl, because a nigga like me would have bust out and started crying like, oh my God, he lied, Grindelwald, don't kill me. Like she held her composure, like she held it down.
But in terms of representation, though, I'll give them this: they had some really good, strong female characters.
They did.
In Fantastic Beasts.
I ain't gonna hold you.
They did have, because who was our favorite character from the second one?
Yeah.
They had some good female characters in Fantastic Beasts. I'll give them that. Y'all suck with other representation.
Yeah, I think they always
it was the black lady's shoes for me.
She had them kitten heels on the platform shoes.
Hold on, wait, Ralph, before you go. Another thing, if y'all gonna bring a black person into this, y'all have to do better. Y'all have Queenie and her sister them had these cute ass bobs curled at the end. They got makeup on, little blush. You bring this black woman in here, like y'all got this wig matted to her head, these two big shoes on feet. Like y'all really did her dirty. Like compared to her Caucasian. Compared to her Caucasian counterparts, Queenie, her sister, the girl in the blue dress, like the other white women that was in that movie, they were always on point. Hair, makeup, clothes, they was on point. Black girl pull up, she looked like something out of Mississippi, Jim Crow. Like, come on, y'all. It's the 1920s.
But again, you have to remember, we are in the 1920s.
But what I'm saying is, like, racism didn't seem very prominent in the wizard world from what I was looking at. So y'all ain't had no reason to do her like that.
Maybe it was just,
she got a coin.
Maybe it's just because of what they were trying to I don't know. Maybe it's the way they wrote her character, like her being a professor. Maybe.
That was a mess.
Because I mean, I feel where you're coming from, but I don't know if it's just the way that they wrote the character. Because Queenie was like that anyway when we first met her. I'll give you Tina, because Tina just didn't pop up on the scene like she did at the end of this movie. I'll give you Tina, but maybe the way that they wrote her character is that she's not this big dolled up person. Like they just didn't make her flat out ugly. Like they didn't just like do her down bad like that. But
yeah, it was only thing that held her was her natural beauty to me. Like when you actually look in her face, she was beautiful. So that's what held it to me. Like if she was ugly, it just would have went down the drain. Like your outfit ugly, you ugly, your hair ugly, girl gone. Like, but she was actually naturally pretty in the face. So that's why I was like, okay, I give y'all that. She's beautiful when you look at her. You know, she had her business. She know how to slang her wine. I let y'all have that, but her appearance could have been just a little more better. Like, I ain't like that.
But like kind of like what Portia said, Queenie was introduced as sexual interest. Like it literally started. Because when you go rewatch the first movie, it started off with Buddy walking in and he looking at her heels. She was like, "Yeah, I can read minds," but every guy thinks the same thing when they first see
that's why I said
she started off.
Queenie started off like that,
while the black lady was a professor.
Yeah. But I'm saying like all the other, like, even though they wasn't sexualized, like they still look decent. Like Tina, her sister wasn't really sexualized, but she still had a nice bob, well dressed. They had a little makeup on. Like she still did. Like nice. Even some of the people that was with the original Grindelwald, some of the women, like Lita, the one that died, she what? Like why would y'all do this fully black African American woman like this? Like Zoe Kravitz, yeah, she mixed. We count you sometimes. You're weird, but this fully black mama, black daddy character come on this screen, and y'all do her like that. Y'all could have gave this girl a short bob like everybody.
I feel like
else.
she looked good.
She was pretty.
Feel like she looked good.
She's pretty. She's pretty. Look at that wig. Look at that wig. Look at that wig. Now pull it up again. Hold it up again.
It's stiff, but it's the 1900s.
I'm just saying.
She's pretty. She has a pretty face.
Okay, listen.
They didn't have Shea Moisture back then.
Listen, Ryan. Listen. I don't know what the creative process was behind her character, but it could have just been that she was a professor. And if we look at the rest of the professors at Hogwarts, they don't be dude up like that anyway. So, I mean,
I give
I
you
feel
that. I
I
give you that. I give you that.
and it could have just been that what her character was, that
Mm.
that because she's a professor and she's fighting for this thing, like that, all that beauty and glam probably just didn't mean much. Like they just didn't do her
Hold
flat
on.
out. They
Pause.
didn't do all that flat out
Wait.
dirty.
Even at the end, when everybody else was dolled up for that wedding, she still was not. Everybody else pulled up, ready to see Queen and Jacob get married. And that was beautiful. These
She
beautiful dresses, makeup. She had on the same thing she
she
had on the whole movie. This
maybe
her,
she's just more
girl.
conservative in the way that she dressed. She was a
It
professor.
didn't give. Like y'all could have done
Like,
better with that black woman. I'm very disappointed in that. Like
I
I'm
feel
glad
you.
I got to say that because y'all did her. Y'all could have did just a little better. Like at least with the hair. It was the
Yeah.
shoes. When I first saw them shoes, I was like, Portia, look at her shoes.
I
Look at
feel
her
you.
shoes.
I'll give you this. If she had her fro and she had her natural, if she had her natural hair looking good, I'll give you that.
Yes,
I
like
feel
a
you.
That
little
wig was
twist
stiff. That
out,
wig
some
was stiff.
Bantu knots, like even some cornrows, some box braids, something. Y'all gave this girl this matted wig that y'all tied rubber
Y'all not
bands
finna
on the
give that
end.
wizard lady some
Like,
Bantu knots in a war.
yeah, y'all gotta.
You're not finna get that wizard lady some Bantu knots.
I don't think she looked bad, and I feel where you're coming from. I guess just with the fact that we don't get a lot of black representation in the Harry Potter series anyway.
Mm.
Had they tried to appeal to what you're saying that they should have did, I think she may have came out looking a bit worse. If you saying that she looks bad, I think she may have came out looking worse if they tried to appeal to what you were coming out with. Because at the end,
I just feel like that could have been just a little better.
And I feel you 100%, but going back to what the time period was, the fact that the Harry Potter series doesn't include a lot of black people anyway.
This would be a whole separate
at least
episode.
At least they didn't do her dirty. Like if we went into the movie and she just she came in there looking like the help, then I'm gonna be with you.
She was 2 seconds.
And that's what the lady in the first movie looked like.
That's what the lady in the first movie looked like the help. Y'all can't lie. She was 2 seconds. Like if you would have changed her dress, she was the help. If you would have changed her dress, it was giving Master your biscuits finished. Like she was 2 seconds from the help. Like
she had a nice trench coat. She had a nice trench coat, the ties, nice fabrics.
When you compare her to her Caucasian counterpart, they were here and she was here, and that was not fair to me. That was not fair.
I feel like if we had 2 other black female characters and they all looked like that, and one was a professor, one was like sexual interest, and the other was like some random ass wizard that supported Dumbledore, I'll give you that. Mm-hmm. But because this character was specifically a professor from the school, and the black lady in the second movie looked great, I can't give you that. I can't. And
I would say this: if we're going to compare this black wizard to Zoe Kravitz, is that Zoe Kravitz's character didn't have as much impact as this lady did. Like she was fighting alongside them. She was professor. She knew her stuff, like all the spells and the magic and stuff that
means
was
she
doing.
Can't be pretty.
No, but I'm not saying.
Y'all saying just because she's a teacher, she can't be.
Ain't nobody said that.
That's not what I'm saying.
That's what basically what y'all saying. Y'all saying like she's a teacher, she know her stuff. So of course she gonna look raggedy. That's basically what y'all just told me. Like,
how many professors in college was walking around with Daisy Dukes and tank tops?
Let me tell y'all something about my black professors in college.
No, let me say this. I'm not trying to say that she doesn't deserve to be pretty, because I don't think she looked ugly. I would say that if we were going with pieces of her costume did not look appealing compared to her counterparts, I would give you that. But I was just saying, because you brought up Zoe Kravitz, I think that the only thing that Zoe Kravitz had was that we said this from the Batman movie, that we like the way Zoe Kravitz looked. But I think, I guess with her, I'm not saying that they couldn't have dolled her up. I'm just saying that I just don't, maybe we just can't compare her to Zoe Kravitz, because there is 2 different types of characters and the impact and the impact that they were having on the movie, because this woman here was actually fighting alongside them. She was doing the spells, she was going on the missions, she was a professor and she was doing all this other stuff.
But that
And
leads
then,
me.
okay, what's up?
I mean, it kind of leads me to say, like, even in a lot of Hollywood movies, a black woman that's powerful, they never look. I opinion like the woman Ryan was talking about in the blue dress. Everybody knew she was a bad bitch. You can look at her and tell she's a bad bitch. Look at her, how she looked. Her hair was dead, dress, jewelry. Like, you just looked at her and saw that she was a bad bitch. You look at this black woman, you ready to play in her face because, girl, look at you. Like, and I feel like that's not fair. Like, I feel like if you can bring a black woman that's that powerful, make her look the part. Make her, you look at her and be like, dog, like, I want to mess with her. Like,
I agree.
for example, like, Arcane, the black lady on Arcane, with the, you look at her like, ooh, I want to fuck with her. The black people from Wakanda, Okoye and them, even though they bought her, you look at them bitches, you be like, oh, I don't want to fuck with them. They just look, they look like they about their business. Like,
he making a point.
She didn't look like she was about her business until she started waving her wine. When she waved that wine, yeah, we see that she about her business. But until then, you was ready to, they played in her face until she waved her wine. Because she didn't look like she was about nothing.
I'll give him that. I think
with
maybe,
the comparisons, I'll give you that.
Maybe with the comparisons that he made, I agree. Maybe they could have. I think, yeah, the costume choices, and I don't know who picked her costume, but maybe
I hope
her
she
presence.
Did,
maybe like what King was saying. Maybe we needed her to be more of a presence in the movie. That when she pulled up, that we finna get down to business. Even though she had like a playful type character and all this other stuff, that maybe her presence, because like when she pulled out her wand, and maybe that's where I'm coming from, that when she started showing her abilities, it was like, okay, you working with something. But when she pulled up on the scene, because I would say this before, when she she's a new character essentially. Like they showed her for a glimpse, like in the second movie, and if you weren't paying attention, you would have missed it. But she's a new character on the scene, so maybe a little bit more presence from her end.
Right. Yeah, like, and we saw her on the bench and she looked like a badass. Like, we saw her sitting down, talking to the men. Had she looked like she was about her business, the man wouldn't even must walked up to her to even fuck with her. Had she looked like she would fuck you up with a blink of an eye. She looked like a damsel in distress. And yeah, when she waved her wand, she did what she had to do. But I
wouldn't say she looked like a damn. I wouldn't go that far. If we want to talk about that,
I feel like
if we want to talk about that specific scene, it didn't look like to me that she was a damsel in distress. What I got was like, y'all, like she looked like the type that was, I'm finna toy with y'all. Like, I'm minding my business. Y'all walk up, okay, bet. I'm finna toy with y'all, which is what she did. She didn't give me damsel in distress.
Okay, but let me ask you this. Okay, had it been...
But that's the thing. That's why I feel like her costume and everything, it fit what she was as a character. If you said you want the Fantastic Beasts franchise to bring that bad bitch black woman, then I feel that. But this character didn't fall into that aesthetic, not even just how she was written, which is why I do feel like her costume and everything did match. Overall, it fit. Now, if they made the Grindelwald's assistant, the girl who was a baddie who walked in and knew stuff was going down, if she was black and they just happened to make her look like this character, I'll see your argument. But right here, I feel like in terms of how her character was written, the way she was played, what she did, even the personality that she depicted, it did match her. It matched her outfit. I didn't feel like nothing aligned.
I feel like Dumbledore
I think she
could have as a bad bitch. Like when Dumbledore was describing what she could do, she was like, "Yeah, she one of the best with her defensive magic. Professor could do this. Professor could do that. Professor could do this." Then you look at her, it was like, "Really? You think?" Like I'm just saying, like imagine Grindelwald's assistant
Professor
sitting on that bench in
McGonagall
that
can
moment.
do some stuff, and look at her.
Yeah.
Professor McGonagall looks better in appearance than that black lady. Now, come on now, y'all know Professor McGonagall look better. When you look at Professor McGonagall,
wait, which version?
Both of them motherfuckers. Like even the one from the Harry Potter movie, it was only one instance where I called her lacking was when she was fighting that war. Her hair was a mess. Every time I saw that lady speaking that accent, her hair was on point, her fit was on point. She had herself with posture, like composure, like she kept herself like I'm the baddest bitch in Hogwarts.
All right, I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't. I would not go that far. That statement right there, I would not go that far. I wouldn't go that far.
Y'all saying Professor McGonagall looked right there. Every time y'all saw her.
I would not go that far. But
Y'all only saying that because she an old lady. That's the only
want.
reason y'all saying that. But had it been a young, had she
No,
looked younger in the face, y'all would not be saying that. Y'all understand? Because she an old ass lady. When you look at her, you see an old ass woman. But think of her appearance, hair, clothes, makeup. She was
McGonagall
I
looked
would say
like
this. I would say this. Yo, let's we finna cut it off right here. we finna cut it off right here.
I'm tired of y'all.
We finna cut it. We finna cut it off right here.
Professor McGonagall was always on point.
I feel you. I'm gonna say this because I wanna cut it off right here. I think King and Ryan made some good points. I think she didn't have, for me, I don't think she had to have delivered like bad bitch energy, but I think what King is coming from, that maybe she could have had more of a presence, like you stepping onto the scene as Dumbledore's army. Like maybe she could have looked like she had some stuff in her pocket, like we want to see what you gonna do next. And I agree with Ryan that maybe they didn't do that just because of how they wrote her character. And maybe because of the fact that this is supposed to be Dumbledore's army, so everybody's not supposed to be looking menacing. That if if we're doing like this good versus evil, like if you look at Dumbledore's army, they look like they up to something. Grindelwald's army. But if you look at Dumbledore's army, these are the people that you are supposed to root for. And and I agree that her costume could have been a bit better, but what they were, I guess, what they were trying to portray with the audience, that these were the good guys, that because I didn't see her as a damsel in distress, and I also didn't look at her like this is a woman that could go out and kill people. That the way that she went about, like the way she carried herself and the way that she used her magic. And even when she got introduced with the beginning, like when the dudes was bothering her, she could have easily like used like attack spells to knock them out and hit them, but she decided to toy with them and play with them instead. So it introduces you to a playful character instead of like.
And they were her friends.
Yeah,
they were her friends to try to trick Jacob into coming out in the first place.
They were working together. The only person who wasn't her friend was the guy that walked up on her. So I feel where you're coming from, and I feel where you're coming from. I just, y'all was getting a bit heated, and I just like, let's go ahead. Let's take this down. Right. Let's take this down 3 notches. Like, I like the discussion of how Black people are being represented in the Harry Potter universe. I do. But like Ralph said, we was going at a tangent, so let's go ahead and bring this shit back in. So but that is our mob review on Fantastic Beasts. One, I want to thank King for being a guest host on the episode. So let the audience know where they can find you on the socials.
Thanks for having me.
I'm about to get to y'all.
Okay.
Hold on.
So
no, I'm talking about Galvin. He didn't say no thanks for having me.
I was trying to finish. Let her finish talking. Like, thank you all for having me. Even though I ain't gonna say that I'm leaving y'all. I'm not gonna pick y'all. I was gonna say, even though I feel like I should be in Ryan's place, but it's all right. I'm gonna let you have that. I should have been a regular, but y'all can find me on Instagram at King, spelled with a V, so that's KVNG .galvin. Twitter, you can find me Galvin_Corekus. That's Galvin_COREKUS. I have other social media, but y'all don't need to find me on them. Also, new music coming soon. I got y'all. To all the King G fans, I got y'all. Go listen to Life's Great, the theme song of the podcast, if you want to feel good about yourself.
Okay. And now, oh, wait, Ron said he wasn't saying that for that. But as always, got to thank Ryan and Ralph, my 2 co-hosts, for being here today. Much appreciated for another good mob review. And with that being said, go ahead and lead us out, Ralph. We missed you, Ralph.
All right. Thank you. So you saying bye to me? Is that what it is? I remember that.
I was going to use that as a thumbnail. I was trying to pose too.
I remember that.
That would have been a nice thumbnail. We all posing.
Oh my god.
The thumbnail need to be me taking my mic off. Like, what did this man just say to me?
But let's go ahead and end it here, guys. Thank you all for watching us. And make sure to also like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. And please suggest us to your friends on Spotify as well. And make sure to follow us on Twitter and Facebook at The Blerd Mob. And make sure to follow us on Instagram at The Blerd Mob Pod. And that being said, peace out, everybody. Till next time.
Hands up. If you loving where you at, stand 10 toes down. Shawty ain't no looking back.